Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices. We'll look at the S&P and also the NASDAQ as well. And with the S&P here, we've got two counts. We've got this bearish count moving down lower. And we've also got a triangle pattern that has this market completed and can move to the upside. I want to focus on this move here at the moment. So this little pattern within here where we want to focus on now, and this strong move up through here has it hasn't taken that high out here, but on the cash market it has done that. So it makes this count here more complicated as a downward movement. So I just need to talk about that, but I want to bring the cash market over because the cash market has taken this little high out here, and I want to show that here. So this is a 5-minute chart here, and this high here was quite critical because we had 5 waves down here as wave 1, back for wave 2, down for wave 1. We're looking for 50-60% retracement level of this leg here, then a move down through here for the bearish pattern. But this has moved up in 5 waves here, moved back, and then we've got another 5 waves up here. So it may be possible. I mean, when I look at this here, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So it's possible to count this as wave 1, and then wave 2 here, wave 3 here, and then wave 4 and wave 5 here, and then an A and a B and a C here. So it's okay for this to be all of wave 1 down here. It's possible, and then an A and a B and a C here, but we would need to see this move straight down from here. Okay, so we can just bear that and remember that. This does appear to, when we've got a correction as an A and a B and a C wave here, normally the A wave and the C wave have a relationship to them, and it would pull back 61.8% from that top to this low here. So this wave 4 here also overlaps this wave 1 here. So it's not a very good fit if I say that, but I think it's worth pointing out in that instance. So I think what we really need to do now is we need to drag this out to the end result, and the end result for this bear market here would be this is wave 1 here, and then an A wave, a B wave in 3 waves, and then a C wave up here. So this is wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for this market, and then down from there. Okay, so either way, if this market pushes up, I'll just move to the 2-hour chart now so we can see a little bit more detail in here. So in this case here, we can still look at this as wave 2 up here, then down for wave 1, an A wave, an A, B, C for the B wave here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the C wave here, and then we can move down from this point. So it's quite interesting really, because you know when we've got fix it up later, when we've got this 5-wave structure here and it's finished here, then in both cases, being a bullish market, we would go down as an A and a B and a C wave. This is the 50-60% retracement level. It doesn't have to come all this way down here. It might just come to the 2650 mark, which is a really important level. And as I've mentioned before, and I won't rabbit on about it, this becomes the balance point for long trades and short trades. So we're getting closer and closer to to a particular trade here. So we can either go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here and finish here, and then have an A and a B and a C, either to this level here or down into this space here. So if that occurs, that's fine. So we get an A and a B and a C here, and let's just say that it goes all the way down to here. Then we'll go long on this point here, okay? And that's a safe trade. We can get a better position on that, because we can get a better position on that, but we'll get that in the next session. So, but just so you know at that point. The other point is that once this 5 waves is finished here, you can sell it here at this level here. Okay, it might move a little bit higher, but finding support on the 2700 here is where you'd have to get rid of that short trade if it found a tested support on that level there, or the classic trading levels pattern. Otherwise, expect to move to that space and sell it, you know, at the 2700 or close to it. If you can count the little 5 waves up on a 100 tick chart or 20 tick chart or something, and sell it there. It may not get you all the way back down, into this third wave here. And in that case here, what we would need to do would need to look at, if I can just copy that segment, having that segment in here, and not that we would short it when it got down to this point here either. But what we can do is we can look for, there will be some sort of corrective pattern within this space here. So when this moves down through here, it will be an A and a B and a C wave here, and then if it breaches that trend line after that, then we'll go short from there. But we can talk about that in the next session, those two setups being long or short. But we are getting close from this balance point here for sorting this out. So there's we've had this, just to recap a bit, we had this count to the downside here, and it hasn't gone as planned at this point, so there's something else that's come into the mix here. So we can resolve it by looking at it as an A, as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for C of 2, and then down into that space, and take it from that point. So just another session to get back in on the short side, but also we need to look at the long side now as well. So on the what chart was I using for the triangle? Okay, so this is our triangle pattern here, and we spoke about this as from wave 3 here as an A wave, a B wave, a C wave, a D wave, and an E wave, and this is in line with some of the banks. And we talked about this low here being the end of it here, but we weren't going to go long unless we had a nice support on the 2650 area here. And now with that 2650 area here, just trading above it is not support. It's trading above it. Yes, that's something, and it's something, isn't it? But it's not. It hasn't tested that 2650, which is really important. But we know that we've got a little 5-wave structure moving up through here like this, and then we still need that 4th and 5th wave there, and then we can come back as an A and a B and a C wave. It may just hit the 2650 and head off, or it may just come a little bit lower here into the 61.8% mark here. But either way, we want that first wave to finish here, because that 5-wave structure to the upside here, if we get 5 waves to the upside here, and then we get this corrective pattern, then we know that we'll go further up. So we can basically go long here, and then we can also go long here. But there's no point in going long right here, unless you're scalping, because you'll just get trapped, in this space here. So if we go to the 1-hour chart here and look at this, so this is how it would play out on the bullish side here. So I've used different numbers here because it's a different, not different numbers, just different colored labeling, because it would be a different degree of structure. But basically wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 coming up into this space, these old highs here, failing to find support on this number here, and or maybe get to the 20, I don't know, in here. But we'd need, normally, the extensions in wave 3, so wave 1 and wave 5 will be roughly the same. We've got this old high here, so we can expect some type of correction. Will it pull all the way down here? I don't know that. We just need to find out. But basically, once we've got that 3-wave pattern there, then we can draw a line in the sand like that, and we can go long at that point, or we can go long on here. But even here is a little bit of a risk until we figure it out. But yeah, anyway, that's pretty self-explanatory that way. Also, to if I just go back to maybe the, oops, daisy, didn't mean to go there. Oh, this will do. I'm going to have a look at the NASDAQ now, because we know that the NASDAQ is this sort of stronger market, and just to take note of this particular pattern within here, this ABC here, this low here on the NASDAQ hasn't made a new low below this one here, so that means we need to look at this as a positive wave to the upside. Actually, just one more thing, and I'm sorry to chuck another spanner in the works, but I might as well share with you another part of this triangle pattern that's possible before we go and have a look at the NASDAQ. So it's a slightly different pattern here for the triangle. So we've got the triangle that we looked at, got this wave E here, a 4 sitting over on this low here. So it's possible that we get something like this here. It may not come all the way up here, but basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for wave 1, back for 2, up for 3, back for 4, and up for 5 here. I need to check this with the banks. This is just a sort of, I wouldn't have brought this count in just yet at this particular stage, but while we're talking about all of this, then, you know, it's not going to matter too much, because we'll still trade. What we're looking for is to trade that leg up here on the long side anyway, which will be a third wave, which will be the strongest. So that's cool. We can look at that as a habit. But it's possible to have this triangle here and just a bit of a larger one here as well. So I think it's important just to chuck it in the mix now. We'll come back to it at some other stage. I just need to rather mention it now rather than later, you know. Okay, for that. So, yeah, the point here is that with this market, the S&P, this low here, it's taken out this low here, but on the NASDAQ it hasn't. So we've got a slightly different count with the NASDAQ. I'll just find that for us. So, yeah. So with the NASDAQ here, we can still look at a triangle. We can still look at wave 3 here, an A wave here, a B wave here, C, D, and E here for wave 4. And then moving up from this point here. But this low here hasn't taken out this low here, okay? But I can see that this pattern in here, or this first leg down here, I may have mentioned before, I may not have, I can't recall, is corrective. So, but still all of this is corrective here. So as an A and a B and a C wave here. So in this case, this is a case for a more bullish count here for the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ stocks have been leaders in the bull run, and it looks like they're leading into this one here as well. So we can look to go. I mean, I'd like to go long on the banks, but just got to kind of sort a little bit more out. But the tech stocks we can certainly look to go long on. Pretty much now, or we can wait, because the same pattern will be occurring here as well. This will be wave 1 and 2 and 3 here. Then there'll be probably a little, that may even go higher, I don't know, 5 into here, back into here, and then up through there. So you could go long here, but you just need to leave the stop out of the way here. And this depends on stocks, you know, and so on. But this will be covering more ground here. Such. We'll drill into this a little bit more perhaps in the next video, so we've got more things, but definitely look to go long in this space here. Right, I think that's it in a bit of a nutshell. I mean, the other thing here, I mean, it's a bit of a long shot. I've got wave 4 here. It's possible for the NASDAQ to have, I'll copy, whoops daisy, I'm just going to copy this here. It's possible to have this wave 4 over here as an ABC, and then having this as wave 1 up here, and back for wave 2 here, and then 1 and 2. And if that's the case, then we'll see this really push up strong in the third wave over here. So just bear that in mind. It does, I mean, it's not a very good count, but 1 and 2 here, then all of the third wave in here, the fourth wave and the fifth wave up here. This is all a bit messy in here, but that's possible in here. Yeah, we don't need to worry about it just yet, but it will affect the count further down the line up this way here further. But what it'll also do too, it will send this one into a much stronger structure, pushing to the upside there as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So the third of the third of the third coming into here. So it should be quite interesting. So looking bullish now. In these markets, but there is just that one little wave structure in the SP 500 that we need to get past. So yeah, the bias is shifting now. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.